Hello everyone, Benji-Sales here, and today it's going to be more of a fun video instead of my normal deep dive, sales industry analysis. That's right, gamer Christmas is on the way. E3 is almost here, and I've always loved getting hyped up for E3. Every year for as far back as I can remember, I was either taking off of school that week, just bouncing out of class, or putting in to take off work, hanging out with my friends, making predictions with each other, and just getting really excited about it. So you know what, I thought, why not make some E3 prediction videos, and as well as a bunch of E3 coverage this year. Now unfortunately, a couple people are sitting out this year, no Sony, no EA, so that is definitely a big bummer, but there's still plenty to talk about, plenty to guess at. And just to preface all of this, none of this is leaks, none of this is insider info on my predictions. These are just completely for fun. If I'm predicting it in this video, that means I don't know anything about it, right? If there was something that I was privy to, it wouldn't be in here. So yeah, this is just completely for fun, and I'm going to go through, in the first video, I'm going to do Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Square Enix. Next video I'm going to do Nintendo, and the one after that I'm going to do Microsoft and Xbox. That's right, I'm saving Xbox for last because I think it's going to be the biggest of all the conferences this year. So first, let's go in order that these conferences are going to take place for the three in this one. Bethesda's up. So whenever I was looking at Bethesda and what they've released recently, what they have on the way, I started realizing that this year's conference might be a little difficult to fill, to be honest, especially because Todd Howard claims that there is not going to be any Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 at this conference, and I am inclined to believe him since those are next-gen games, and we're probably not going to get either one until 2020 at the earliest. So what really is going to be the focus of this year's E3 for them? And obviously that's going to be Doom Eternal, right? That's going to be the big central pillar of this show. And they've already shown a pretty hefty single-player campaign, footage of this when they first revealed it. So I think their main, selling point, the main thing to change it up from what we've already seen, is going to be a big blowout on that multiplayer invasion that they teased, where you could go into other people's worlds as one of the demons and fight them. So I'm betting they're probably going to show a lot of footage on that. We haven't seen anything about the competitive multiplayer, just like the regular standard competitive, so they'll probably show that as well, and I'm sure there will be some single player footage. And yeah, other than that, your best bet for a new game, right, a new game that we have not seen before, never before seen, is going to come from either Arcane, who develops like the Dishonored series, or Tango, who develops the Evil Within franchise. And that right there is going to be my one big prediction, right? I think Tango is going to announce a new game, and I don't think it's going to be the Evil Within. Now, what it's going to be, I'm not sure. Like I said, this is just a for fun prediction, but Evil Within 2 wasn't the strongest seller, so maybe they will follow that up, right? Maybe there will be an Evil Within 3, but I kind of feel like that studio might just be doing something totally different. They haven't released anything since 2017. Neither has Arcane, by the way, in terms of, just then. They've helped out in other games, other projects with Bethesda, but they themselves have not released a new game since 2017. But I don't think Arcane's ready. I think Tango is going to announce a new game here, and that is my big prediction / preview of Bethesda's show. Rage will have already been released, so we probably won't see anything of that other than maybe some DLC. Obviously, we'll see Wolfenstein Youngblood a little bit, right? They'll probably have a big trailer for that, and that I think is going to mostly wrap it up. The next year, E3 2020 for Bethesda should be insane, because that is when we're going to finally see Starfield, I think. Alright, next up, let's talk Ubisoft, and I'll be honest, I'm really excited for this one. I know they got a lot of flack, especially at the early of this generation, but I think they've really turned things around and honestly become one of the best developers and publishers on the planet. They have just such a wide variety of releases in so many genres and so many IPs. It feels like there's almost a Ubisoft game for everyone, right? Even if you're not like a huge fan of them, I'd be shocked if there's just not a single game from them that you don't like. So there's a lot to talk about here, and I'm going to try and get through it quick. But unlike Bethesda, where I really only had one big prediction, I've got several here. So let's kick things off. Prediction number 1. I think you are going to see Watch Dogs 3 announced for this year. I think it's going to come out Q4 or Q3. It could be like a September game, but that range, Q3, Q4 for this year. It's rumored to be set in London, and I hope this is more of a blend of Watch Dogs 2 and Watch Dogs 1. I know a lot of people really loved Watch Dogs 2 over 1, and I did like a lot of the improvements there, right? The main character was obviously far superior. I thought Aiden was really boring in Watch Dogs 1, but I kind of liked the vibe of Watch Dogs 1 a little bit more. It wasn't quite as silly and not quite as over the top. They tried to make it a little bit more serious, and I kind of liked that vibe, right? A little bit more than 2's, personally speaking. But 2 also had, a ton of improvements in terms of gameplay and obviously a much more interesting main protagonist. So I hope 3 is a bit of a mixture of that, right? We get some more of that kind of serious vibes, but with a better main character and all of those improvements. And London's a really cool setting, right? So that should be exciting seeing that there. So that's prediction number 1. Prediction number 2, and I feel really confident in this one, I think you are going to get a Mario and Rabbids sequel announcement. Yeah, that game sold extremely well for Ubisoft and Nintendo. It's shown great legs. It still pops up on the eShop bestsellers list when it goes on sale at times. And it was, reviewed well. A lot of people really seem to enjoy that game. And I think it's due, right? I think it's time. That's not the kind of franchise that's going to take a massively long development cycle, right? It's not this super, realistic AAA game. So, yeah, I think that's going to be announced for a next year. I don't think it's going to make 2019, but I think it's going to be before E3 2020. So somewhere in those first 6 months of next year, just to give them a nice little, pretty nice sized title there early in 2020. So yeah, I'm expecting that. Prediction number 3, and I'll be honest, this one's a total wild card. I'm going out on a limb here on this one, but I think it's been announced long enough that it's time. I think you are going to get a Beyond Good and Evil 2 release year announcement, and I think their goal is to release this Q4 2020 with next gen. I don't think it's going to appear in current gen in any shape or form, and that might be optimistic, right? It could very easily be a 2021 or even 2022 game. Every time we've seen this, it's such raw early footage, but I'm just going to take a total risk here. That's still a year and a half away of development. I think that's what they're going to announce, Q4 2020. Yeah, I have no confidence in this, but it might happen. And my last and final big prediction here is I think we're finally going to see Splinter Cell, right? It's been long rumored that Ubisoft has been making another Splinter Cell game. This has been popping up for quite a while now, and I think it's time, right? Bring the franchise back. They had that teaser, in Ghost Recon where they were kind of talking about Sam Fisher and stuff, so it just seems time, right? It's gotta be time. Let's announce it before next gen gets here. If it really has been in development as long as it has, maybe this is a cross gen title. Very well could be, because I don't think it's coming this year. I'll be surprised if they are like, hey, Splinter Cell is coming out 2019. I think it's a 2020 game. So very easily could be cross generation, but I do expect to finally see that announced, and fans are going to go crazy. People have been waiting for another Splinter Cell. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, that's my 4 big predictions. Obviously, there's going to be some other stuff in the show. We're going to see something from Rainbow Six Siege. That game just continues to have amazing legs and an amazing, esports scene. So that's going to get some focus. It's not going to be any type of sequel or anything, but, they'll announce new DLC plans for that or, new esports stuff. We're going to see more stuff on the Division 2, some DLC for that. And yeah, I think that's going to mostly be their show. I'm sure we'll see Just Dance. We see Just Dance every single year. In terms of, other new game announcements, I think there's not much else. Splinter Cell and Watch Dogs 3 are going to be your big, huge, oh my god, and Mario and Rabbids too. Those are going to be your huge mega reveals. And that is going to bring us to our final press conference that I'm going to talk about in this particular video, and that is Square Enix. Now, there's going to be a couple big predictions I have for this one, so let's just kick it off first with a megaton. I think, prediction number 1, I think both Final Fantasy VII Remake as well as the Avengers Project are going to be in this show. If that happens, then whoa, this is going to be absolutely an incredible showcase, but I do think it's going to happen. So Final Fantasy VII, there's this convenient Final Fantasy Orchestra concert that happens to be going on at the exact same time as E3. Now, of course, that's not my only reason for thinking that this game's going to be here. I just think it's time. That game's been radio silent now for a while. We know that development got really rocky, and it switched up to being developed in-house, at Square Enix. So who knows the state of that game? I don't know for sure if we're going to get a release year or a release date announcement, but I do think it's going to be there. It's time to start showing that game. And Avengers, we've seen nothing, right? They went radio silent, and they were originally saying that we were going to see more in 2018. They were going to show us that game, or at least, some CG story concepts, or what the concept of this game is, and we saw nothing, right? So we're now half a year past 2018. We're going to be, in June 2019, and they need to start showing something, right? This game has been announced for a while. If you've looked at the hiring they've been doing on this, they are not sparing expense. I mean, they are going all out. They've been recruiting people from all over the industry to come work on this project. So it's a huge ordeal, and they need to start talking about it. So I know it sounds crazy, but I think they're both going to be there. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Avengers Project. So that's just my big prediction number one. Prediction number two, I think Babylon's Fall, Square Enix's game that they're partnering with Platinum on, I think it's going to be there in a big presence. It's still listed even on their website that this is a 2019 game. And I actually think that's not true. I think it's going to get delayed. I think this is a 2020 game. Just because we're halfway through the year now and we know nothing about it, right? All we saw was that one teaser trailer at last year's E3. And really all that showed was like some dates and like, a render of like these like knight type dudes fighting. That was about it. So if that's really coming this year, which, maybe it still is, but I'm surprised we've heard nothing else really about this game. We don't have any idea how it plays or anything like that. So I think it is going to get a big presence here. I think they're going to show a lot about it, but I think it's delayed. I think it's going to be a 2020 release now. And my final prediction number 3, I think we're going to see People Can Fly's ambitious AAA shooter that they have partnered with Square Enix on. So this has been, in development for years now. People Can Fly is famous for, they're most noted for Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment. They're a real shooter-heavy studio. And yeah, this is supposedly a full-on AAA game that they've been working on. So I think it's time to show that as well, just because it's been in development for so long. Again, I don't think it's this year. I think it's 2020. But yeah, I think you see it here, and I'm really excited to see what this looks like, because I do enjoy both those games. I thought Judgment, wasn't the best Gears game, but it still played really good. And I love Bulletstorm. I think it's got amazing shooting mechanics, and it's so much fun. So, I really think that studio's talented. So I'm excited to see, where that is going. And yeah, that's going to wrap up Square Enix, in terms of my predictions. Obviously, I think we're going to see some Kingdom Hearts DLC here. It makes sense. I'm not counting it as a prediction because it's pretty obvious to me. They've already started talking about the DLC for the game, and it's sold amazing. So it'd be very strange to have no Kingdom Hearts presence here at all. So, that'll be in there, and some other stuff. We'll probably see some stuff for Final Fantasy 14 and some things like that, but I don't think you're going to see the next major Final Fantasy single-player game, right? I don't think you're going to see that new IP that they're building. The team that made, Final Fantasy 15 is currently building a new IP, and I don't think that's anywhere near ready. That's a next-generation title. It's not coming on this gen at all, so don't think you're going to see anything like that. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me in this video. It was just for fun. This is video number 1. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I'll be doing a Nintendo video and a Microsoft one as well in the coming weeks. So look forward to that. In terms of some other E3 plans, I plan on, doing a live reaction to all of the major conferences. I already have requested off work that entire week, so I'm ready to pump out some content. So I plan on doing live reactions to those. I plan on doing some wrap-up videos after each conference, what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and I'll put a sales twist on it like I always, try to do, and say, what I think is really going to make a market impact, and what, games might be smaller announcements, things like that. So expect a lot of E3 coverage from me over the next month, as well as in early June. I'm Benji-Sales. Follow me on Twitter at Benji-Sales. If you like the video, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps me out massively. And as always, thank you for watching. It means so much to me. See you in the next video.